Let's get one thing straight. When a woman pulls away, most men panic. They think she lost interest, or worse, she's seeing someone else. But here's the twist. Sometimes when a woman wants you the most, she's the one who distances herself. Sounds insane? That's because most men have no idea how female psychology truly works. You've been taught to see emotions as logical, direct, and consistent, because that's how most men operate. But women? Different universe. A woman may crave your presence, think about you nonstop, and still go cold. Why? Because female attraction isn't just about how she feels, it's about what those feelings mean to her. And sometimes those feelings scare the hell out of her. In her world, vulnerability is dangerous. Falling for you might remind her of past heartbreak, betrayal, or being emotionally exposed. So instead of leaning in, she pulls back. It's not rejection, it's protection. But if you don't understand that, you'll chase her harder, pressure her, or emotionally check out, proving her fears right. Most men lose the game not because they weren't wanted, but because they misread the moment. They treated distance as a dead end instead of a test. So in this video, I'm breaking down exactly why women do this, what it really means, and how a smart man, not a desperate one, responds. Because once you master this part of female psychology, you'll stop asking, why did she pull away? And start realizing, she pushed me away because she wanted me to pull her closer in the right way. 1. Her body wants you, her mind fights it. This is one of the most frustrating and confusing parts of female psychology for most men. You're doing everything right. The chemistry is intense. She flirts, she smiles, she leans in. Her body language is giving you every green light. And just when things start to click, she pulls away. Not because she doesn't want you, but because she does. Too much, too fast. What men forget is this. A woman's emotional desire doesn't always align with her mental security. Her body may scream, yes, but her mind starts to panic. Thoughts like, what if he hurts me? What if I lose myself? What if this is just lust and not real? Flood her brain. For men, attraction can be simple. You're into her, you pursue. But for many women, especially emotionally reactive ones, desire can trigger fear. If she's been hurt before, controlled before, or ignored before, then feeling something deep again becomes a mental battlefield. So what does she do? She distances herself, not because she stopped feeling, but because she felt too much. If you don't know this dynamic, you'll react emotionally. You'll get frustrated, insecure, or start chasing her harder, which only confirms her fear. He wants control. But if you're grounded, calm, and unbothered, she slowly realizes he's not a threat. He's a man I can relax with. 1. Example. You take her out. Sparks are flying. She opens up, laughs, touches your arm, and says she hasn't felt this way in a long time. You text her the next day, no reply. Then she goes cold for a week. Don't panic. Don't chase. Let her come to terms with her emotions. She's not ghosting you. She's protecting herself from her own feelings. Give her space, but stay present. The man who understands this wins her trust, and eventually her heart. 2. She'll sabotage what feels too good. Here's a truth most men never see coming. Some women destroy the very thing they've always wanted. Not because they're evil, not because they're heartless, but because they don't believe they deserve it. When something feels too good, too stable, too real, that's when certain women panic. They start to look for cracks, flaws, or anything to justify their fear. This is self-sabotage, and it runs deep, often tied to childhood, past relationships, or low self-worth. If a woman has lived in chaos, she trusts chaos. Peace feels suspicious. A man who treats her well? Too unfamiliar. So instead of leaning in, she questions your intentions. She might become cold, pick fights, flirt with others, or accuse you of things you didn't do. It's not because you messed up, it's because she's afraid of feeling safe. Crazy, right? Most men think, if I treat her like a queen, she'll stay. But here's the twist. If she's not healed, your love feels like a threat. She'll push it away to avoid the pain of possibly losing it later. And if you take it personally, if you try to fix her or prove your love, you fall right into the trap. 1. Example. You're consistent. You check on her, support her dreams, make her laugh, and never give her a reason to doubt you. One day, out of nowhere, she accuses you of being too good to be true. She starts creating distance, picking fights, or even disappears. That's not rejection. That's her testing if her old beliefs will win again. Don't chase. Don't over-explain. Stand firm. Let her feel that stability doesn't always leave. That's how you earn her respect and eventually her surrender. 3. The more you care, the more she tests. Here's the harsh reality. The moment a woman senses that you genuinely care, she often doesn't relax. She starts testing. Not because she's evil, not because she doesn't like you, but because your care activates her fear of losing power. See, when you care too openly, too quickly, she begins to wonder, why is he so into me? What does he want? Is this real? It's twisted, but many women have been conditioned to associate care with control, love with manipulation, and attention with hidden motives. So what does she do? She tests. She pulls back. She becomes unpredictable. She says things to throw you off. She tries to poke holes in your confidence, not because she doesn't want love, but because she wants to know if your love can handle resistance. The more vulnerable you become, the more she might push, just to see if you're emotionally solid. She's not looking for words, she's watching your behavior. Will you break down? Will you beg? Will you chase? Or will you remain grounded? A woman's tests are not random. They are subconscious strategies to answer one question. Is this man stronger than my fear? If she senses that your care turns into emotional chaos, she'll run. If she sees that your care comes with boundaries, calmness, and purpose, she begins to trust you on a deeper level. That's the paradox. You'd think giving more love makes her feel safer. But in truth, it's how you handle her emotional storms that makes her feel secure. So when you start caring for a woman, expect turbulence. That's the price of entry. But if you respond with masculine patience, calm detachment, and self-respect, you won't just pass the test, you'll change the entire way she sees you. 4. She craves attention, but punishes love. A woman will soak in your attention like sunlight until it starts to feel like love. That's when things get weird. She'll post a cute story hoping you reply. She'll flirt just enough to keep you around. She'll give you subtle signs that she wants you close. But the moment you start acting too loving, too emotionally invested, or too committed, she backs off. Why? Because attention is power. Love is vulnerability. She loves the feeling of being wanted, admired, pursued. But when love enters the picture, real love, where you show care, consistency, and depth, it gets uncomfortable. Now it's not just about validation. Now it's about responsibility, emotional maturity, accountability. And a lot of women aren't ready for that. But here's where most men get it wrong. You confuse her craving for attention with actual emotional readiness. You think, she wants me, so I'll give her my all. Wrong. You're over-investing in someone who only wanted the chase. You're offering emotional loyalty to someone who only wanted entertainment. And when she starts pulling back, being distant, or giving mixed signals, you blame her. But here's the truth, brother. You gave your heart to someone who never asked for it. She wanted attention, not love. And it's your job to know the difference. Wake up. You're not being romantic. You're being reckless with your energy. Stop trying to heal women with affection. Stop throwing commitment at confusion. Start reading the signs for what they are. She loves your attention, but she punishes you when you give her more than she's ready for. That doesn't make her evil. That just means she's not where you are emotionally. So pull back, match her energy. Don't give depth where she only offered surface. And remember, real love feels safe and reciprocated. If she keeps punishing you for being real, she was never ready to begin with. 5. She pushes you away to feel wanted again. Here's a twisted truth most men never see coming. Sometimes a woman pushes you away not because she's done, but because she wants to feel your pursuit again. Yes, really. She wants to recreate the high of being chased, the thrill of wondering if you'll come after her, the emotional spike of uncertainty. For some women, this isn't manipulation. It's emotional survival, because once she feels like she has you, the excitement fades. That initial dopamine rush, gone. You're available now, predictable, safe. And ironically, that makes her restless. So what does she do? She creates distance, not to leave, but to feel desired again. It's like emotional fishing. She throws out rejection like bait, just to see if you'll bite. And if you panic, chase, beg, or double down on affection, she gets exactly what she wants: validation. But here's where men fail. They take the bait every single time. They start texting more, calling more, apologizing for things they didn't do, trying to fix whatever went wrong, all to win her back, even though she never really left. She just shifted position to regain emotional leverage. This is where you, as a man, need discipline. You need to understand that not every pullback is a threat. Sometimes it's a move in her subconscious game of feeling wanted. If you respond with desperation, you lose her respect. If you hold your frame, you regain control. She doesn't want to feel like she owns you. She wants to feel like she could lose you, but you choose her anyway. Big difference. So stop rewarding distance with attention. Don't reinforce emotional manipulation with validation. Stand still. Let her come back on her own terms. And when she does, re-engage, but on your terms, not hers. That's the difference between a man who's wanted and a man who's respected. 6. If you're too available, you become a threat. Here's what no one tells you. Your consistency can scare her more than your silence ever did. You think being available is a sign of loyalty. That texting back fast, always being around, showing up, and proving your interest will make her feel secure. But for a lot of women, especially those who aren't emotionally grounded, your availability makes her panic. Why? Because now she has something to lose. When you're inconsistent, she doesn't have to commit. She can flirt, detach, play games, and stay emotionally safe. But when you show up fully, no games, no mind tricks, just pure masculine presence, that's when it gets uncomfortable. Not because she doesn't like it, but because it forces her to confront her own emotional immaturity. You stop being a fantasy. You become real. And real love, real attention, real presence, that comes with pressure. It forces her to decide, am I ready for this kind of man? And if the answer is no, she'll sabotage. She'll pull back. She'll try to rebalance the dynamic by making you feel unsure, just to escape the discomfort of emotional responsibility. Most men misinterpret this. They think, she's not ready, I need to prove myself more. Wrong. That's how you kill your own power. The truth is, when you're too available, you hold up a mirror. You force her to look at her own chaos, her emotional avoidance, her indecisiveness, and instead of thanking you for your love, she pushes you away to protect her fragile sense of control. So here's the lesson. Be present, but not available on demand. Give energy, but don't overextend. Show love, but keep your standards. Because the man who gives too much too soon becomes a burden, not a blessing. And a burden gets pushed away. 7. She confuses intensity with danger. You ever wonder why the more powerful the connection feels, the faster she runs? 1 minute, the eye contact is electric. The chemistry is undeniable. She's all in, calling you, complimenting you, opening up about her past, her fears, her dreams. It feels intense, deep, and real. And then, boom, distance, mood swings, silence. She ghosts, or she needs space. Not because something went wrong, but because something felt too right. Here's the hidden truth. A lot of women confuse emotional intensity with emotional danger. They've been taught, often through trauma, that intensity has chaos. So when a man makes them feel deeply, it doesn't register as love. It registers as a threat. Why? Because feelings make her vulnerable. And for many women, vulnerability reminds them of the last time they let their guard down and got crushed. It's not about you. It's about her emotional wiring reacting to something she secretly craves but doesn't know how to handle. So she associates the fire with the fall. The deeper the bond feels, the more her brain starts screaming, protect yourself, don't trust this. And this is where men go wrong. You think, She felt what I felt, so why is she pulling away? Because what you experience as connection, she experiences as exposure. She's not running from you. She's running from the version of herself that feels safe enough to love. And that version, she doesn't trust her yet. So what do? You don't react, you don't chase, you don't lecture, you hold your frame, you let her run, but you don't follow. That's how she learns that intensity doesn't have to mean danger, that a strong man can carry emotional fire without burning her. The men who stay centered when women spiral, they're the ones she eventually returns to, with clarity. 8. Her friends are in her head. You might think it's just you and her, but often it's you, her, and the panel of judges she calls her friends. What most men don't realize is this: many women make emotional decisions as a group. It's not just about how she feels, it's about what her friends think she should feel, what they would do, what they wouldn't tolerate. So when she starts pulling away from you, it's not always because you did something wrong, it's because her friends are whispering in her ear, "You deserve better. Why is he not posting you? Girl, if he really liked you, he'd be obsessed. He's too into you, that's suspicious. He's not giving you drama? Boring. You think it's a private bond, but you're competing with a group chat full of single, bitter, validation-addicted women who treat your relationship like a reality TV show. Here's the problem. Some women don't know how to think independently. They outsource their emotional compass to people who've failed in their own love lives. So even if you're stable, caring, and intentional, she'll question you if her friends don't approve. And let's be honest, a happy, grounded man threatens the dysfunction they've normalized. They'll pick him apart. They'll find problems. They'll project their own failures onto your relationship. And if she's not strong-minded, she'll start seeing you through their distorted lens. Suddenly, your calmness looks like detachment. Your leadership looks like control. Your standards look like red flags. And just like that, you're out. Not because she felt unsafe, but because her circle felt uncomfortable watching her receive what they never had. So here's your wake-up call. Don't just vet the woman, vet her circle. Because if she lacks backbone, your connection is never truly yours. It's a rented space in a noisy room full of insecure voices. 9. She doesn't trust good men. You'd think being a good guy is what every woman wants. You're respectful, you're honest, you communicate, you show up when you say you will, and still, she pulls away. Why? Because she doesn't trust it. Too many women have been lied to by men who pretended to be good. They've seen fake niceness used as bait, watched gentlemen flip when they didn't get their way, and dealt with emotional guys who became emotionally manipulative. So now, when a man is actually solid, he becomes suspicious. You offer peace, she suspects boredom. You offer consistency, she thinks it's a tactic. You don't play games, she assumes you're hiding something. Because in her mind, no man is this good unless there's a catch. And that's the tragedy. Her past taught her to expect dysfunction. So when you offer clarity, she searches for chaos. Not because she wants to ruin things, but because she's been programmed to equate comfort with danger. A healthy relationship feels unfamiliar, so she resists it. She pushes you away not because you did anything wrong, but because you feel too right, and she's never experienced right without pain attached to it. Meanwhile, you're confused. You start questioning yourself. You might even try harder to prove you're genuine. Big mistake. Because now you're seeking approval from someone who hasn't even healed enough to receive what you're offering. So what's the move? Stop trying to be the good guy she approves of. Be the man who respects himself first. If she's not ready to believe in good men, that's her inner war, not yours to fight. A man rooted in truth doesn't beg to be trusted. He lives in a way that speaks louder than her fears. And if she can't recognize that, let her go back to the chaos she still believes in. 10. She wants power, not just love. Let's kill the fantasy. A lot of modern women aren't just looking for love. They're looking for leverage. It's no longer just about romance or connection. It's about control, emotional power, positioning, being the one who's desired more, chased more, needed more. So when you love her deeply, but don't let her lead the dynamic, she feels off balance. When you set boundaries, keep your standards, and refuse to lose yourself for her emotions, she doesn't feel in control, and that's when she starts pulling away. Not because she doesn't love you, but because you didn't let her dominate the game. See, many men confuse emotional intensity with mutual respect, but some women want a kind of love where they hold the emotional upper hand, where they decide how close you can get, when you can talk, how much you should care. If you give that power away, she gets bored. If you hold your ground, she gets frustrated. Either way, you expose what she was really after. This is where most men fail. They give love and power, thinking it proves devotion, but in reality, it often breeds contempt. So what do? Stay rooted, be kind, but unshakable. Love her, but never submit your identity, because the moment she feels you're emotionally beneath her, she'll never see you the same again. She doesn't just want love, she wants to feel it without losing her power. And you must never give yours away. Conclusion: the woman who pulls away first usually wants you the most. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. The woman who pulls away first is usually the one who feels the deepest. Not the one who ghosts you after a dry conversation. Not the one who used you for attention. But the one who actually caught feelings and panicked. Why? Because real love threatens her ego, her freedom, and her emotional defenses. And in today's culture of hyper-independence and fake self-love, being vulnerable to a man is seen as weakness. So instead of leaning in, she distances herself, fast. But men, you need to stop chasing that withdrawal. Stop treating emotional confusion like a puzzle you need to solve. If a woman can't stand still in the presence of real love, she's not ready for a real man. And to everyone watching, drop a comment below. Have you experienced this? Been pulled close? Then suddenly pushed away? I want to hear your story. I'm building a space where men can speak freely and learn deeply, and I'll personally be reading and responding to those who comment. Let's build this connection together, man to man. The truth is harsh, but it's real, and real men don't run from it, they rise with it.